The pencil hit her desk with a sharp crack that made everyone freeze. Not because it was loud, because of who threw it. Marcus Kane didn't ask for things. He commanded them. And everyone in Westbridge Academy knew that
Oh
when
my
Marcus
gosh, my
wanted
heart is
something,
fluttering.
you gave it to him. No questions, no hesitation, definitely no refusal. He stood over the new girl's desk now, his shadow blocking the fluorescent lights above. The entire classroom held its breath. 28 students watched in silence as Marcus tilted his head, waiting. His dark hair fell perfectly across his forehead. His jaw was sharp enough to cut glass. Girls literally fainted when he smiled at them in the hallways. Boys moved out of his way like he was royalty walking through peasants.
Oh my gosh, my heart is fluttering.
The new girl didn't look up from her notebook. Marcus raised one eyebrow. This was the part where people scrambled, where they apologized for existing in his space, where they picked up whatever he dropped and handed it back with trembling fingers and grateful smiles. But she just kept writing. Her name was Zara Thompson, and she had walked into Westbridge exactly 47 minutes ago. Marcus had noticed her immediately, not because she was beautiful, though she was. Her skin was deep brown, smooth and rich, like midnight itself had taken human form. Her hair was natural, twisted into thick coils that framed her face. Her eyes were bright, intelligent, and completely unbothered. That last part bothered him. Every girl in this school had looked at Marcus Kane at least once with stars in their eyes. Every single one. They brought him snacks, they did his homework. They laughed at jokes that weren't funny and agreed with opinions that made no sense.
Oh my gosh, my heart is
They
fluttering.
existed in his orbit because being near him meant something at Westbridge Academy. It meant you were special,
my heart is
chosen,
fluttering.
protected. But Zara Thompson had walked past him in the hallway like he was furniture. She had sat down in the only empty seat, the one by the window that used to belong to Sarah Chen before Sarah transferred to another school after Marcus got bored with her constant attention. And now Zara was sitting there, writing in her notebook like Marcus Kane didn't exist. So he threw the pencil. And now he waited. The classroom was so quiet you could hear the clock ticking on the wall. Someone coughed nervously in the back row. Marcus heard Jessica Wong whisper something that sounded like, "Oh my God," under her breath. Finally, Zara stopped writing. She set her pen down carefully. She looked at the pencil on her desk. Then she looked up at Marcus. Her face didn't change. No fear, no nervousness, no attempt to smile or flirt or diffuse the situation. She just looked at him like he was any other person, like he was nobody.
Pick
Pick it up,
pencil.
Marcus said. His voice was low, dangerous, the kind of tone that made teachers nervous and students obedient. Zara blinked once. Then she said, in a voice so calm it felt like ice water, You dropped
pick it up.
Pick it up yourself. The classroom exploded, not with
pick it
noise,
up.
with gasps, with shocked
You threw
inhales
it.
and covered mouths and wide eyes that darted between Marcus and Zara like they were watching a car accident happen in slow motion. Marcus felt something hot and uncomfortable rise in his chest. Anger, yes, but also something else, something he couldn't name. His mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. No one had ever spoken to him like that. Not once in his entire life at Westbridge Academy. Not once since he figured out in 7th grade that if you were good-looking enough and confident enough and willing to make people afraid enough, you could control everything. Everyone. Zara turned back to her notebook and continued writing. Just like that. Like the conversation was over. Like Marcus Kane was dismissed. He stood there for 3 more seconds, feeling 28 pairs of eyes burning into his back. Then he grabbed his pencil off her desk so hard it left a red mark on his palm, and he walked back to his seat with his jaw clenched so tight it hurt. Behind him, he heard someone drop a textbook. The sound echoed like thunder in the silence. Marcus Kane had just been told no, and he had no idea what to do about it. Class ended 15 minutes later, and Marcus was the first one out the door. Not because he was running away. Marcus Kane didn't run from anything. He just needed air, space, distance from the situation that made absolutely no sense. He walked down the hallway and everyone moved. They always did. They pressed themselves against lockers and stepped aside and watched him pass with that mixture of fear and admiration that used to feel good. That used to make him feel powerful. Today it felt hollow. "Marcus, wait," a voice called behind him. Jessica. Of course it was Jessica. She had been following him around since freshman year like a loyal puppy. He didn't stop walking. She caught up anyway, slightly out of breath, her blonde ponytail swinging. "Are you okay?" That new girl was so rude. I can't believe she talked to you like that. Want me to say something to her? I can tell her she needs to show some respect. Everyone knows who you are. She probably doesn't understand how things work here yet. She's new. She'll learn. I can help her learn. Do you want me to? Marcus finally stopped walking and turned to face Jessica. She nearly crashed into him, then took a quick step back, smiling hopefully. No, Marcus said flatly. Jessica's smile faltered. Oh, okay. I just thought maybe. You know, since she was so disrespectful, I mean, who does she think she is, right? Talking to you like that. She's nobody. You're Marcus Kane. You're… Jessica, Marcus interrupted. His voice was sharp enough that she immediately went quiet. I don't need you to fight my battles, her face fell. I wasn't. I was just… I'm sorry, I didn't mean to… But Marcus was already walking away again. He could hear her calling his name behind him, but he didn't turn around. He turned the corner and nearly collided with two sophomore boys who jumped back like he had electricity radiating off his skin. Sorry, Marcus, one of them stammered. We didn't see you. We weren't trying to block your way. We were just… Marcus waved them off and kept moving. He didn't have time for their nervous apologies. He needed to think. He needed to understand what had just happened in that classroom. By the time lunch arrived, the entire school knew about the incident. Marcus heard the whispers everywhere. In the bathroom, in the hallways, in the cafeteria line. People were talking about Zara Thompson like she was some kind of phenomenon, some kind of mystery that needed solving. Did you hear what she said to him? She told him no. Actually said no. I heard she didn't even look scared. Maybe she doesn't know who he is. Everyone knows who he is. Then maybe she's crazy. Marcus sat at his usual table in the center of the cafeteria. The throne, people called it. The best table with the best view, where Marcus Kane held court every single day. His friends surrounded him, or at least the people he allowed to sit near him. David Chen, captain of the basketball team. Rachel Martinez, head of the student council. Tyler Brooks, whose father owned half the businesses in town. They were all talking about Zara, too. She's bold, I'll give her that, David said, biting into his sandwich. But bold is different from smart. She just made an enemy of the most powerful person in this school. Maybe she doesn't care, Rachel offered, scrolling through her phone. Maybe where she's from, things work differently. Where is she from? Tyler asked. No one knew. Zara Thompson had appeared at Westbridge Academy that morning like a ghost. No introduction, no background, no explanation. Just a name on the attendance sheet and a face that didn't match any of the usual Westbridge types. Marcus wasn't listening to his friends. He was watching the cafeteria entrance, waiting, and then she walked in. Zara Thompson moved through the cafeteria with the same calm energy she had in the classroom. She didn't look around nervously like new students usually did. She didn't search for a friendly face or an empty table. She just walked straight to the lunch line, grabbed a tray, and started putting food on it. Marcus watched her select a salad, some fruit, and a bottle of water. Healthy choices, practical. She paid the lunch lady with exact change and then turned to survey the cafeteria. This was the moment. This was when new students realized how Westbridge Academy worked. The social hierarchy was visible in the seating arrangement. Popular kids in the center, athletes near the windows, smart kids by the library entrance, outcasts and loners near the back exit. Everyone had a place. Zara looked at all of it with those bright, unbothered eyes. Then she walked straight past Marcus's table without even a glance in his direction and headed for the doors that led outside. She was going to eat alone, outside, away from everyone. Wow, Rachel said, watching Zara disappear through the doors. She really doesn't care, does she? Marcus stood up so fast his chair scraped against the floor. Everyone at the table looked up at him in surprise. Where are you going? David asked. Marcus didn't answer. He was already walking toward the exit. He could feel eyes following him across the cafeteria, whispers spreading like wildfire. Marcus Kane was following the new girl. Marcus Kane, who never followed anyone, who made people come to him. He pushed through the doors and found himself in the courtyard. It was a small green space behind the cafeteria with a few trees and some benches. Most students didn't eat out here because it was too quiet, too isolated, too far from the social scene. Zara sat under a large oak tree with her back against the trunk. Her tray was balanced on her lap. She was eating her salad slowly, methodically, like she had all the time in the world. Marcus walked over and stood in front of her, blocking her sunlight. She looked up at him, chewed, swallowed, then said, Can I help you? Her voice was so casual, so unbothered. Like Marcus Kane standing in front of her was the most normal thing in the world. Why did you do that? Marcus asked. He tried to keep his voice calm, but he could hear the edge in it, the frustration. Do what? Zara asked. She speared another piece of lettuce with her fork. You know what? In class. The pencil. Oh, that. She took a sip of water. You dropped something on my desk and expected me to pick it up for you. I declined. That's all. That's all? Marcus felt that heat rising in his chest again. Do you have any idea who I am? Zara looked at him for a long moment, really looked at him. Her eyes traveled from his face down to his expensive sneakers and back up again. Then she said, You're a boy who thinks dropping pencils on people's desks is a personality trait. Marcus felt like he'd been slapped. Not physically, but her words hit harder than any punch. No one talked to him like this. No one dared to analyze him, to reduce him to something small and petty. Everyone in this school knows my name, Marcus said, his voice dropping lower. Dangerous. Everyone respects me. Respect? Zara set down her fork and looked at him seriously now. That's not respect. That's fear. There's a difference. What's the difference? Marcus demanded. He was leaning forward now, trying to intimidate her with his height, his presence, his reputation. Zara didn't lean back. She didn't flinch. She just held his gaze and said, Respect is earned. Fear is taken. You've been taking things from people for so long, you forgot there's another way. Marcus opened his mouth to respond, but nothing came out. His brain couldn't process what she was saying, couldn't compute the fact that this girl, this new girl who knew nothing about Westbridge Academy or how things worked here, was sitting under a tree eating salad and dismantling his entire existence with a few simple sentences. I'm not afraid of you, Marcus Kane, Zara continued, and I'm not interested in playing whatever game you've got going on here. I came to Westbridge to study, to learn, to get into a good college. I don't have time for high school drama. She picked up her fork again and went back to her salad. Dismissed again. Marcus stood there for another moment, frozen between anger and something else, something that felt uncomfortably close to shame. Then he turned and walked away without another word. Behind him, he heard Zara humming softly to herself, a melody he didn't recognize, content, unbothered, free. And Marcus Kane, the boy who controlled everything and everyone at Westbridge Academy, felt control slipping through his fingers for the first time in his life. The next morning, Marcus arrived at school with a plan. He had spent the entire night thinking about Zara Thompson, about her calm voice, her steady eyes, the way she made him feel small without even trying. No one made Marcus Kane feel small. He found her at her locker before first period. She was organizing her books with the same methodical precision she used for everything else. Marcus leaned against the locker next to hers and crossed his arms. We need to talk, he said. Zara glanced at him. Good morning to you too. I'm serious, Marcus said. You don't understand how things work here. You're making a mistake. What mistake? Zara closed her locker and turned to face him fully. Being myself? Not bowing down to you? Which part is the mistake? The part where you think you can just walk into Westbridge and act like the rules don't apply to you, Marcus said. His voice was getting louder now. Students walking past were slowing down, pretending not to listen while absolutely listening. There's an order here, a system, and you're disrupting it. Good, Zara said simply. Maybe your system needs disrupting. Before Marcus could respond, a group of girls approached. 3 of them, seniors, led by Amanda Pierce, who had been trying to date Marcus since sophomore year. She was beautiful in the conventional way, blonde, thin, perfect makeup, everything Westbridge Academy valued. Hey, Marcus, Amanda said, completely ignoring Zara. We're having a party this weekend at Tyler's house. You're coming, right? Everyone wants you there. Marcus barely looked at her. His eyes were still fixed on Zara. Maybe. Maybe? Amanda's voice went up an octave. She wasn't used to maybe. She was used to Marcus showing up wherever she invited him because his presence made any party important. Come on, it won't be fun without you. You're the one everyone wants to see. I said maybe, Amanda, Marcus repeated, his tone sharper now. Amanda finally noticed Zara standing there. Her eyes narrowed. Oh, you're the new girl, Zara, right? That's right, Zara said pleasantly. I heard about what happened in Mrs. Peterson's class yesterday, Amanda continued. Her voice was sweet, but her eyes were cold. You really should be more careful about how you talk to people here. Westbridge has certain standards, certain expectations. Such as? Zara asked. She sounded genuinely curious. Amanda stepped closer. Her two friends flanked her like backup dancers. Such as knowing your place, such as understanding that some people here have earned their position and you haven't earned anything yet. You're nobody. Zara smiled. It wasn't a mean smile. It was almost pitying. If my worth is determined by what strangers think of me, then I'm already in trouble. Luckily, I don't measure myself that way. Amanda's face flushed red. Excuse me? You're excused, Zara said. Then she picked up her backpack and walked past all of them toward her first class. The hallway went silent. Students who had been pretending not to watch were now openly staring. Amanda Pierce had just been dismissed, humiliated, in front of Marcus Kane. Amanda spun toward Marcus, her eyes desperate. Can you believe her? She's so disrespectful. Someone needs to teach her a lesson. Marcus, you should— I should what? Marcus interrupted. His voice was cold, flat. He was tired of Amanda, tired of all of them. Amanda blinked, confused. I just meant, you know, she can't talk to us like that, to me like that, to you like that. Marcus pushed off the locker and started walking away. Maybe we deserve to be talked to like that. He heard Amanda gasp behind him, but he didn't turn around. He followed the path Zara had taken down the hallway. He didn't know why. He just knew he needed to understand her, needed to figure out what made her different from everyone else in the school. In third period history class, Marcus deliberately sat in the seat behind Zara. She noticed. Of course she noticed, but she didn't say anything. She just opened her textbook and started reading the assigned chapter. Mr. Harrison, the history teacher, walked in late as usual. He was young for a teacher, only 28, and he tried too hard to be cool. He wore skinny jeans and band t-shirts and made references to memes that were already outdated. All right, settle down, Mr. Harrison said, even though no one was talking. Today we're discussing the civil rights movement. Who can tell me why the Montgomery bus boycott was significant? Several hands went up. Marcus never raised his hand. He never needed to. Teachers either called on him because he was Marcus Kane, or they avoided calling on him for the same reason. But Zara's hand went up. Mr. Harrison looked surprised. Ah, our new student. Zara, right? Go ahead. Zara lowered her hand. The Montgomery bus boycott was significant because it demonstrated the economic power of collective action. When African Americans refused to use the bus system, it hit the city where it actually hurt, their wallets. It proved that marginalized communities had more power than they realized. They just needed to organize and act together. The classroom was silent, not uncomfortable silence, impressed silence. Mr. Harrison nodded slowly. That's exactly right. Economic pressure as a tool for social change. Very well said, Zara. Marcus stared at the back of Zara's head. She was smart, actually smart. Not Westbridge Academy smart, where you paid tutors to write your papers and memorize test answers. Real smart, the kind that came from thinking and reading and understanding. After class, Marcus caught up with her in the hallway again. You know a lot about history. I read, Zara said simply. Most people here don't really care about what they're learning, Marcus admitted. They just care about grades, about getting into good colleges. And you? Zara asked. What do you care about? The question caught Marcus off guard. No one ever asked him that. What did he care about? He cared about being Marcus Kane, about maintaining his position, his power, his control. But saying that out loud suddenly felt empty. I don't know, Marcus said honestly. The words surprised him as much as they probably surprised Zara. She stopped walking and looked at him, really looked at him, like she was trying to see past the expensive clothes and the perfect hair and the reputation that preceded him everywhere he went. Maybe that's your real problem, Zara said softly. You're so busy controlling everyone else, you forgot to figure out who you actually are. Then she walked away, leaving Marcus standing in the middle of the hallway with that uncomfortable heat spreading through his chest again. That feeling he was starting to recognize. Shame mixed with something else. Something that felt like curiosity, like interest, like the beginning of change. At lunch, Marcus didn't sit at his usual table. He grabbed his tray and walked straight outside to the courtyard. Zara was under the same oak tree, eating the same kind of simple lunch: salad, fruit, water. She looked up when Marcus's shadow fell across her. "Can I sit?" he asked. Zara studied him for a moment. Then she gestured to the ground next to her. "Free country." Marcus sat down, not close enough to invade her space, but close enough to talk. They ate in silence for a few minutes. Marcus had never experienced silence like this. Comfortable, not awkward. Just two people existing in the same space without needing to perform. Finally, Zara spoke. "Why are you here, Marcus?" "I don't know," Marcus admitted again. Twice in one day, he was admitting he didn't know something. That was a record. "Yes, you do," Zara said. "You're here because I'm the first person who didn't give you what you wanted, and you don't know how to handle that." Marcus felt defensive anger rise up. "That's not—" "It is," Zara interrupted gently, "and that's okay. Most people don't know how to handle rejection, especially people who never experience it." "I've been rejected before," Marcus argued. "Have you?" Zara raised an eyebrow. "Or have people just been too scared to say no?" Marcus opened his mouth, closed it. He thought about every interaction he'd had at Westbridge Academy for the past 4 years. Every request granted, every order followed, every expectation met. Zara was right. People weren't saying yes because they wanted to. They were saying yes because they were afraid to say no. "That's not real," Marcus said quietly. "None of it's real." "No," Zara agreed. "It's not." They sat under that oak tree for the rest of lunch. Marcus asked questions he'd never asked anyone before. Questions about real things, about life and purpose and meaning beyond high school hierarchies. "Why did you transfer to Westbridge?" Marcus asked. Zara was quiet for a moment. She picked at her salad, pushing a cherry tomato around her plate. "My old school wasn't a good fit." "Why not?" She looked at him then. Her eyes were guarded but honest. "Because I was different. My skin was darker than everyone else's. My hair was natural while everyone else straightened theirs. I asked too many questions in class. I didn't laugh at jokes that weren't funny, and some people decided that made me a target." Marcus felt something twist in his stomach. "They bullied you." "They tried," Zara corrected. "But bullying only works if you let it break you. I didn't break. I just left. Started over somewhere new." "And you came to Westbridge," Marcus said, "where you met me on your first day. Another bully." "Are you?" Zara asked. "A bully?" The question hung in the air between them. Marcus wanted to say no, wanted to defend himself. But he thought about Amanda and Jessica and all the others. The way they scrambled to please him. The way they feared his disapproval more than they valued their own opinions. "I think maybe I am," Marcus admitted. The words felt like swallowing glass. "I never thought about it that way. I just thought I was popular. Powerful." "Power without purpose is just tyranny," Zara said. "Even small tyranny. Even high school tyranny." The bell rang, signaling the end of lunch. Students started filing back inside. But Marcus and Zara stayed under the tree for another minute. "Thank you," Marcus said suddenly. "For what?" "For being honest. Everyone else just tells me what they think I want to hear." Zara stood up and brushed grass off her jeans. "Maybe you should stop surrounding yourself with people who are scared of you. Try finding people who actually like you." "How do I know the difference?" Marcus asked. Zara smiled, a real smile. The first one she'd given him. "The people who like you will tell you when you're wrong. The people who fear you will tell you you're always right." She walked away, and Marcus watched her go. For the first time in years, he felt like someone had seen him. Actually seen him. Not Marcus Kane, the popular guy. Not Marcus Kane, the powerful guy. Just Marcus. A 17-year-old boy who didn't know who he was without his reputation. The rest of the week was strange. Marcus found himself watching Zara more than he meant to. Not in a creepy way, just observing. She moved through Westbridge Academy like she existed in a different dimension from everyone else. Students whispered about her. Some admired her bravery. Others thought she was stupid for making an enemy of Marcus Kane. But Zara didn't seem to notice or care about any of it. On Thursday, Marcus saw 3 guys from the football team approach Zara at her locker. He recognized them immediately. Jake Morrison, Brett Taylor, and Chris Henderson. They were seniors, big guys, the kind who thought their size gave them authority. Marcus was 50 feet away, but he started walking toward them immediately. Hey, new girl, Jake said loudly. He was standing too close to Zara, invading her space deliberately. We heard you've been disrespecting Marcus Kane. That true? Zara closed her locker calmly. I don't know what you heard, but I haven't disrespected anyone. That's not what we heard, Brett chimed in. He moved to Zara's other side, boxing her in. We heard you've been acting like you're better than everyone, like the rules don't apply to you. What rules? Zara asked. Her voice was steady, but Marcus could see her hand tighten around her backpack strap. She was nervous. Finally, these guys were bigger than her, stronger, and there were three of them. The rules about respecting people who matter, Chris said. About knowing your place? And where exactly is my place? Zara asked. Wherever we tell you it is, Jake said. He reached out to grab Zara's backpack. He never made contact. Marcus's hand shot out and caught Jake's wrist midair. His grip was iron tight. His face was calm, but his eyes were dangerous. Touch her and you'll regret it. Jake spun around, shocked. Marcus, what are you? We were just teaching her some respect. For you. She disrespected you, man. No, Marcus said quietly. His voice was low, controlled. But there was steel underneath. She treated me like a human being. That's not disrespect. That's honesty. And if you three ever approach her like this again, if you ever make her feel unsafe, we're going to have a serious problem. Do you understand me? The three football players looked at each other in confusion. This didn't make sense. Marcus Kane was defending the new girl, the girl who had embarrassed him in front of the whole school. We were just, Brett started. I don't care what you were just doing, Marcus interrupted. His voice got harder. I'm telling you what you're about to do, which is walk away, right now, and leave her alone. Permanently. Jake looked like he wanted to argue, but Marcus's reputation wasn't built on nothing. When he got serious, people listened, even guys bigger than him, because everyone at Westbridge knew that Marcus Kane had connections, money, power that extended beyond school walls. The three football players backed away slowly. Then they turned and walked down the hallway, muttering to each other. Marcus released a breath he didn't know he was holding. His hand was shaking slightly from the adrenaline. He turned to Zara. Are you okay? Zara was staring at him with an expression he couldn't read. Surprise? Maybe. Confusion? Definitely. Why did you do that? Because, Marcus started, then stopped. He didn't have a good answer. Or maybe he did, but he wasn't ready to say it out loud. Because it was wrong. What they were doing, it was wrong. And you care about what's wrong now? Zara asked. There was no accusation in her voice, just genuine curiosity. I'm starting to, Marcus admitted. They stood there in the hallway while students flowed around them like water around rocks. Marcus felt exposed, vulnerable, like Zara could see straight through all his defenses. Thank you, Zara said finally, for stepping in. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did, Marcus said, and he meant it. That afternoon, the rumor spread through Westbridge Academy like wildfire. Marcus Kane had defended Zara Thompson. Marcus Kane had threatened 3 football players for her. Marcus Kane was acting completely out of character. At his lunch table, his friends confronted him. What's going on with you? David demanded. First you're sitting outside with her. Now you're defending her from Jake and his crew. What are you doing, Marcus? I'm doing the right thing, Marcus said simply. The right thing? Rachel laughed, but there was no humor in it. Marcus, she's nobody. She's been here less than a week. And you're throwing away your entire reputation for what? Because she's interesting? Because she's different? Yes, Marcus said. He stood up from the table. Because she's real. And I'm tired of being surrounded by people who aren't. He walked away from the table, away from his friends, away from the throne he'd built in the center of the cafeteria. He walked outside to the oak tree where Zara sat reading a book. She looked up when his shadow fell across the pages. This seat taken? Marcus asked. Zara smiled. That real smile again. The one that made something warm bloom in Marcus's chest. Depends. Are you going to throw pencils at me? Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. When was the last time he'd laughed at something that was genuinely funny? No pencils, I promise. Then sit, Zara said. Marcus sat down next to her, closer than last time, close enough that their shoulders almost touched. What are you reading? He asked. Zara held up the book. The Invisible Man, Ralph Ellison. What's it about? It's about being unseen, Zara said, about how society looks at you but doesn't really see you, how you can be invisible even when you're right in front of people. Marcus thought about that, about how everyone at Westbridge saw Marcus Kane, but nobody really saw Marcus. Nobody except maybe Zara. That sounds lonely, Marcus said quietly. It is, Zara agreed. But the book is also about finding yourself, about deciding who you are regardless of what others think you should be. They sat in comfortable silence while Zara read and Marcus just existed beside her. No performance, no power play, just two people under a tree. And Marcus realized something that both terrified and excited him. He was starting to care what Zara Thompson thought of him, not because he wanted to control her or impress her or add her to his collection of admirers, but because she was the first person in years who made him want to be better. By Friday, the entire social structure of Westbridge Academy had shifted. Marcus Kane was no longer sitting at the center table in the cafeteria. He was outside under the oak tree with Zara Thompson, and people didn't know what to make of it. Some thought it was a long game, that Marcus was playing some elaborate prank on the new girl, that he would eventually humiliate her in spectacular fashion and reclaim his throne. Others thought Zara had done something to him. Witchcraft, some whispered. Mind control. How else could you explain Marcus Kane abandoning everything for a girl who openly rejected him? But a few people, the quieter ones who lived on the margins of Westbridge's social hierarchy, saw something different. They saw a boy finally waking up from a 4-year performance, and they watched with cautious hope. Marcus didn't care what people thought anymore, or at least he was learning not to care. It was harder than he expected. He'd spent so long measuring his worth by other people's reactions that existing without that validation felt like floating in empty space. But Zara made it easier. She told him about her family. Her mother was a nurse who worked double shifts. Her father had left when she was 6. She had a younger brother named Isaiah who loved dinosaurs and wanted to be a paleontologist. She told Marcus about the books she read and the music she listened to and the dreams she had for college and beyond. And Marcus told her things he'd never told anyone, about his father who was never home, about his mother who cared more about appearances than actual connection, about the crushing pressure to be perfect, to be Marcus Kane, the untouchable. I don't think I know how to be anything else, Marcus admitted one day. They were lying on the grass under the oak tree, looking up at clouds through the branches. I've been this person for so long. What if there's nothing underneath? There is, Zara said with certainty. I've seen it. You're kind when you think no one's watching. You're funny without trying to be. You ask real questions and listen to the answers. That's who you are, Marcus. The rest is just costume. Marcus turned his head to look at her. The sunlight filtered through the leaves and made patterns on her face. She was beautiful, not in the obvious way that Amanda Pierce was beautiful. Zara's beauty was deeper. It came from somewhere inside her, from confidence and strength and a sense of self that Marcus envied. Can I ask you something? Marcus said. Always. Why aren't you afraid of me? Really, everyone else is. Even the people who claim to be my friends, they're all afraid of what I might do or say or think. But you never were, not even on the first day. Zara was quiet for a moment. Then she said, my grandmother used to tell me something. She'd say, baby girl, fear is just a story you tell yourself about the future, and you get to choose which stories you believe. When I met you, I could have chosen to believe the story everyone else believes, that you're dangerous, that you're cruel, that you have power over me. But I looked at you and I saw something different. What did you see? Marcus asked. His voice was barely a whisper. I saw a boy who was scared, Zara said simply, scared of being ordinary, scared of not mattering, so scared that he built walls made of other people's fear just to feel safe. And I thought, I'm not going to feed that fear. I'm not going to make those walls stronger. I'm just going to treat him like a human being and see what happens. Marcus felt something crack open in his chest, something that had been locked tight for years. His eyes burned. He blinked hard, refusing to let tears fall. Marcus Kane didn't cry. Marcus Kane was strong, always strong. But maybe strength looked different than he thought. You see too much, Marcus said, his voice rough. Or maybe everyone else doesn't see enough, Zara replied. The moment was interrupted by voices approaching. Marcus sat up quickly and saw Amanda Pierce walking toward them with her usual entourage. Her face was twisted with anger. We need to talk, Amanda announced. She was looking at Marcus, but her eyes kept darting to Zara with barely concealed hatred. So talk, Marcus said. He didn't stand up, didn't move to meet her, just stayed on the ground next to Zara. Amanda's jaw clenched. Alone. Anything you need to say, you can say in front of Zara, Marcus replied. Fine, Amanda snapped. What is wrong with you? Do you know what people are saying? They're saying you've lost it, that she's turned you into some kind of joke. Tyler's party is tomorrow night, and you haven't even confirmed you're coming. Everyone expects you there, Marcus. It's not a party without you. Then I guess it's not a party, Marcus said flatly. Amanda's face flushed red. Are you serious right now? You're choosing her over everyone? Over your actual friends? Over people who've been loyal to you for years? Loyal? Marcus stood up now. His voice was calm but firm. Amanda, you've never been loyal to me. You've been loyal to the idea of me, to what being associated with me does for your reputation. There's a difference. That's not true, Amanda protested. But her voice wavered. When's my birthday? Marcus asked suddenly. Amanda blinked. What? My birthday. If you're such a good friend, such a loyal person, when's my birthday? Amanda opened her mouth, closed it. Her friends looked at each other uncertainly. None of them knew. They'd been in Marcus's orbit for years, and not one of them knew when his birthday was. It's September 14th, Zara said quietly from behind Marcus. You mentioned it last Tuesday when we were talking about astrology. You said you didn't believe in it, but your mom always made a big deal about you being a Virgo. Marcus turned to look at Zara in surprise. She'd remembered. A throwaway comment from 3 days ago, and she'd remembered. Amanda looked between them with disbelief on her face. This is insane. She's been here for 1 week, Marcus. 1 week, and you're acting like she knows you better than people who've known you for years. Maybe she does, Marcus said. Maybe actually paying attention to someone is worth more than 4 years of shallow conversations and fake friendship. Fake? Amanda's voice went shrill. I threw parties for you. I defended you. I made sure everyone knew how important you were. I never asked you to do any of that, Marcus said tiredly. You did it because it made you important by association. And I let you because I thought that's what friendship looked like. But I was wrong. We both were. Amanda stood there trembling with rage and humiliation. Then she spun on her heel and stormed away, her friends scurrying after her like confused puppies. Marcus sat back down heavily. His hands were shaking. Confrontation always gave him an adrenaline rush, but this felt different. This felt like burning bridges, like there was no going back to who he used to be. You okay? Zara asked gently. I don't know, Marcus admitted. I just ended a 4-year friendship, or whatever that was. It wasn't friendship, Zara said. Friendship is when someone knows your birthday, when they care about your feelings more than your reputation. What you had with Amanda was a transaction, and transactions end when the terms change. Marcus nodded slowly. She was right. She was always right. It was annoying and comforting at the same time. Can I tell you something? Marcus asked. Of course. I've spent 4 years trying to make everyone at this school care about me, trying to be someone that mattered, and I was miserable the entire time. I just didn't realize it until you showed up and made me look at my life honestly. And now? Zara asked. Now I'm terrified, Marcus said with a shaky laugh, because I don't know who I am without all of that, without the performance, without the power. What if I'm nobody? Zara reached over and took his hand. It was the first time they touched intentionally. Her skin was warm, her grip was firm. You're not nobody, Marcus. You're just finally becoming somebody real. And real is scary. But it's also worth it. Marcus looked down at their joined hands. Something shifted inside him. Something fundamental. He wasn't falling for Zara Thompson. That was too simple. Too small for what was happening. He was becoming himself because of her. And himself was someone who could maybe, possibly, eventually be worthy of someone like her. Will you come with me to Tyler's party tomorrow? Marcus asked suddenly. Not because I care about the party. I don't. But because I want to show everyone that I'm done playing their games, that I choose you, if you'll let me. Zara studied him carefully. You know what will happen if we show up together, right? Everyone will talk. They'll make assumptions. They'll probably be cruel. Let them, Marcus said. I'm done caring about what they think. I only care about what you think. And what do I think? Zara asked with a small smile. I hope you think I'm worth taking a chance on, Marcus said honestly. I know I've been terrible. I know I have a lot to make up for, but I'm trying to be better because of you, and for myself. Zara was quiet for a long moment. Then she squeezed his hand and said, Okay, I'll go with you. Marcus felt something explode in his chest. Relief, joy, terror, all of it mixed together. Yeah? He asked. Yeah, Zara confirmed. But Marcus, if you throw a pencil at anyone at that party, we're leaving immediately. Marcus laughed, a real laugh, the kind that came from somewhere deep and genuine. Deal. Saturday evening arrived too quickly. Marcus stood in front of his bathroom mirror, changing his shirt for the fourth time. Nothing looked right. Everything felt wrong. He'd never been nervous about his appearance before. He'd always known he was good looking. That was just a fact, like gravity or mathematics. But tonight was different. Tonight he was picking up Zara Thompson and walking into Tyler's party as someone new, someone he wasn't sure he knew how to be yet. His phone buzzed. A text from David. You really bringing her tonight? Last chance to come to your senses. Marcus deleted the message without responding. Another text, this time from Rachel. Everyone's talking about you. This isn't going to end well. Delete. Another from Tyler. My house, my rules. If she causes drama, you're both out. Marcus stared at that one longer. Tyler Brooks had been his friend since middle school, or at least he'd thought they were friends. Now he wasn't sure what they'd been. Allies, maybe. Co-conspirators in maintaining the social order. He texted back. If anyone causes drama, it won't be her. Marcus settled on a simple navy blue shirt and dark jeans. Nothing too formal, nothing trying too hard. Just clothes. Just Marcus. He drove to the address Zara had given him. It was on the other side of town, far from the gated communities where most Westbridge students lived. The houses here were smaller, older, but well-maintained. Loved. Zara's house had a small front porch, with wind chimes that sang softly in the evening breeze. Marcus knocked on the door, his heart hammering against his ribs. A woman opened the door. She was shorter than Zara, but had the same bright, intelligent eyes. She wore scrubs with cartoon characters on them. Zara's mother. You must be Marcus, she said. Her voice was warm but assessing. Come in. Marcus stepped inside. The house smelled like cinnamon and vanilla. There were photos everywhere. Zara as a baby. Zara and a younger boy Marcus assumed was Isaiah. Zara graduating from middle school. A family that actually documented their love. Zara told me about you, her mother said. She gestured for Marcus to sit on the couch. She said you're trying to be better. Yes, ma'am, Marcus said. The formality came naturally. His own mother had trained him in manners, even if she hadn't trained him in much else. Trying is good, Zara's mother continued. Trying means you recognize there's room for growth. But Marcus, my daughter is special. She's been through things. Been hurt by people who thought they could treat her however they wanted because she was different. So I need to know, are you one of those people? Marcus met her eyes directly. I was. I'm not proud of it. But Zara made me see myself clearly for the first time. And I didn't like what I saw. So I'm changing. Not because I want something from her, but because she made me want to be someone worth knowing. Zara's mother studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. Okay, I believe you. But if you hurt her? Mom, Zara's voice came from the stairs. Stop interrogating him. Marcus turned and forgot how to breathe. Zara was wearing a simple yellow dress that somehow made her skin glow like it was lit from within. Her hair was down, falling in natural curls around her shoulders. She wasn't wearing much makeup. She didn't need it. She was stunning. You look beautiful, Marcus said. The words came out rougher than he intended. Zara smiled. You clean up pretty well yourself. Take care of my baby, Zara's mother said. But she was smiling now. I will, Marcus promised. I swear. In the car, Zara was quiet. Marcus glanced over at her as he drove. Having second thoughts? No, Zara said. Just thinking about what we're walking into, you know everyone's going to stare, right? Let them, Marcus said. I don't care anymore. You say that now, Zara said gently. But these are people you've known for years. People whose opinions mattered to you yesterday. That doesn't just disappear overnight. Maybe not, Marcus admitted. But you matter more. That's not going to change. They pulled up to Tyler's house 20 minutes later. It was massive, as expected. 3 stories of modern architecture with floor-to-ceiling windows that showed the party already in full swing inside. Cars lined the circular driveway. Music thumped so loud Marcus could feel it in his chest. He turned off the engine and looked at Zara. Last chance to back out. Not a chance, Zara said. She reached over and squeezed his hand. We're doing this together. They walked to the front door, hand in hand. Marcus could already see faces in the windows, people noticing them, phones coming out, the whispers starting. Tyler opened the door before they could knock. His face was carefully neutral. Marcus, Zara, come in. The party noise dimmed as they walked inside. Not completely silent, but quieter. Heads turning, conversations pausing. Everyone watching Marcus Kane walk in with Zara Thompson like it was the most natural thing in the world. Amanda Pierce was standing by the kitchen entrance with her group. Her eyes widened when she saw them, then narrowed with something ugly. David and Rachel were on the couch. They looked confused, disappointed, like Marcus had betrayed them personally. Jake Morrison and his football friends were by the pool table. They stopped playing when Marcus walked past. Their expressions were hostile. Marcus kept walking, kept holding Zara's hand. He led her to the back patio where it was quieter, where they could breathe. That was intense, Zara said. Yeah, Marcus agreed. His hands were shaking slightly. I knew it would be. But knowing and experiencing are different things. They stood at the edge of the patio, looking out at Tyler's elaborate backyard. Olympic-sized pool, tennis court, guest house that was bigger than most people's actual houses. Does it bother you? Zara asked quietly. That they're all judging you right now? Marcus thought about it. Really thought about it. Yes, he said honestly, but not as much as I thought it would. A week ago, their opinions were everything. They defined me. But now I'm starting to realize I get to define myself. And I choose this. I choose you. I choose being real even if it's uncomfortable. Zara smiled up at him. You're growing up, Marcus Kane. Better late than never, Marcus said. The moment was shattered by Amanda's voice behind them. Well, isn't this adorable? Marcus and his little project. Marcus turned. Amanda was standing there with her arms crossed. Behind her were at least 10 other people. An audience. She'd brought an audience. Not now, Amanda, Marcus said tiredly. Yes, now, Amanda insisted. Her voice was sharp, bitter. Everyone here deserves to know what's really going on. You've been at Westbridge for less than 2 weeks, she said, pointing at Zara. And somehow you've turned Marcus into someone we don't even recognize. So what's your game? What do you want from him? I don't want anything from him, Zara said calmly. I just want him to be happy, to be himself. Herself? Amanda laughed harshly. He was happy before you showed up? He had everything, everyone, and you ruined it. No, Marcus said firmly. He stepped between Amanda and Zara. I ruined it. Me. Because I was tired of being empty. Tired of being surrounded by people who only cared about what I could do for them. Zara didn't ruin anything. She saved me from becoming someone I'd hate. That's insane, David said. He'd moved closer with Rachel. Marcus, listen to yourself. You sound brainwashed. I sound honest, Marcus corrected. For the first time in 4 years, I'm actually being honest. And if you can't handle that, if none of you can handle me being real instead of perfect, then maybe we were never really friends to begin with. You're choosing her over all of us? Rachel asked. She sounded hurt. Actually hurt. Over years of friendship? I'm choosing myself, Marcus said. And yes, that means choosing Zara too. Because she's the only person who's ever encouraged me to figure out who I actually am instead of who everyone wants me to be. Amanda's face contorted with rage. You're pathetic, both of you. You think you're better than us? You're not. You're just 2 outcasts playing pretend. If being an outcast means being genuine, I'll take it, Marcus said. His voice was steady, strong. I'm done performing for you, Amanda. I'm done performing for any of you. He turned to Zara. Let's go. They walked back through the house together. The crowd parted for them like they were diseased. Marcus could hear the whispers starting already, could feel the judgment radiating from every corner. A week ago, it would have destroyed him. would have sent him running back to his throne, apologizing, promising to be who they wanted again. But tonight, with Zara's hand in his, it just felt like freedom. They were almost to the front door when Tyler stepped in front of them. Marcus, wait. Marcus stopped. What? Tyler looked uncomfortable, uncertain. Are you really doing this? Walking away from everything? I'm walking away from things that weren't real, Marcus said. That's not the same as everything. We've been friends since we were 12, Tyler said quietly. That was real, wasn't it? Marcus looked at Tyler, really looked at him. They'd been friends, or something like friends. They'd played video games and basketball. They'd talked about girls in college. But had Tyler ever asked Marcus how he really felt about anything? Had Marcus ever been vulnerable with Tyler? Had they ever been real with each other? I don't know, Marcus said honestly. Maybe it was, but it's not enough anymore. I need more than surface level. I need actual connection, and I don't think you're ready for that. Tyler's jaw clenched. Then he stepped aside. Then go. Marcus and Zara walked out into the night. The door closed behind them with a soft click that felt like the end of an era. In the car, Marcus sat with his hands on the steering wheel, not moving, not starting the engine, just breathing. You okay? Zara asked. I just burned every bridge I had, Marcus said. I just walked away from 4 years of relationships, and I feel… He paused, searching for the right word. Free. Is that crazy? No, Zara said. It's not crazy. Sometimes you have to burn down the old to make room for the new. Marcus looked at her. This girl who'd walked into his life less than 2 weeks ago and turned everything upside down. This girl who saw through him and liked what she found underneath all the performance. This girl who made him want to be better. Thank you, Marcus said. For what? For saying no, Marcus said. That first day, when I dropped the pencil. Thank you for saying no. Zara reached over and took his hand. You're welcome. Monday morning arrived with the weight of consequence. Marcus had spent Sunday in his room, his phone exploding with messages. Some supportive, most not. His parents had been out of town all weekend, which was normal. They were always out of town, always at some conference or business dinner or charity event that mattered more than being home. He was grateful for their absence. He didn't have the energy to explain what he'd done, what he was becoming. Walking into Westbridge Academy felt different. Marcus had always entered these halls like he owned them. Head high, confident, untouchable. But today he felt exposed, vulnerable, like every eye could see through to the uncertainty beneath his skin, and every eye was watching. The whispers started immediately. Students lined the hallways like spectators at an execution. Some looked curious, some looked gleeful, some looked almost sad. He's finished, someone muttered as Marcus walked past. Can't believe he threw it all away for her, another voice said. She must be something special, a girl whispered to her friend. Marcus kept walking. He told Zara he'd meet her at her locker. He needed to see her, needed the reminder that he'd made the right choice even when it felt terrifying. But before he could reach her locker, someone stepped in front of him. Jake Morrison, the football player from last week, the one Marcus had warned away from Zara. We need to talk, Jake said. His voice was low. Dangerous. Move, Marcus said flatly. You embarrassed me, Jake continued, ignoring Marcus's command. You made me look weak in front of my friends, in front of the whole school, for her. You were threatening her, Marcus said. I stopped you. That's all. That's all. Jake's laugh was harsh. You chose her over your own people, Marcus. You turned your back on everyone who made you somebody. And for what? A girl who'll probably leave you the second she gets bored? Marcus felt anger rise in his chest, hot and immediate. You don't know anything about her. I know she's got you acting stupid, Jake said. He stepped closer, chest puffed out, trying to intimidate. And I know that without your reputation protecting you, you're just another pretty boy who can't back up his mouth. Marcus could feel the audience forming around them. Students sensing a fight, pulling out phones. This was what they'd been waiting for. The fall of Marcus Kane, the spectacle. Walk away, Jake, Marcus said quietly. This doesn't have to happen. Yeah, it does, Jake said. Because someone needs to teach you about loyalty, about respecting the people who matter. He shoved Marcus, hard. Marcus stumbled back a step. The crowd gasped. Someone yelled, "Fight!" Phones rose higher. Marcus steadied himself. A week ago, he would have swung back immediately, would have used his fists to prove his dominance, would have made Jake regret ever touching him, but he heard Zara's voice in his head. Power without purpose is just tyranny. I'm not fighting you, Marcus said. His voice was calm, steady. You're angry because I called you out for bullying someone. That's on you, not me. And hitting me won't change the fact that you were wrong. Jake's face flushed red. You're scared, that's what this is. You're scared now that you don't have everyone backing you up. Maybe, Marcus admitted. But being scared doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means I'm smart enough to know when violence isn't the answer. Marcus Kane, afraid of a fight, Jake announced loudly to the crowd. Who would have thought? The mighty have fallen. Some people laughed. Some looked uncomfortable. Marcus could see Amanda in the crowd, her face twisted with satisfaction. David and Rachel were there too, watching silently. And then Zara appeared. She walked through the crowd like it didn't exist. Calm, unbothered. She stopped next to Marcus and looked at Jake with those steady, intelligent eyes. Are you done? She asked Jake. Her voice wasn't aggressive, just curious. This doesn't concern you, Jake said. It does when you're trying to provoke my friend into violence because your ego is bruised, Zara said. Marcus doesn't need to fight you to prove anything. The fact that he's refusing proves more than any punch ever could. What are you, his bodyguard now? Jake sneered. No, Zara said. I'm just someone who recognizes strength when she sees it. And strength isn't about who can hit harder. It's about who can walk away from pointless conflict. Marcus is strong enough to walk away. Are you? Jake looked between Zara and Marcus. The crowd was silent now, waiting. This was the moment. This was where Jake could either escalate or retreat. He retreated. Whatever, Jake muttered. You're both pathetic. He pushed through the crowd and disappeared down the hallway. The audience dispersed slowly, disappointed there hadn't been blood. Marcus released a breath he didn't know he was holding. Thank you, he said to Zara. I didn't do anything, Zara said. You handled that perfectly. I almost didn't, Marcus admitted. Part of me wanted to hit him, wanted to prove I'm still someone people should fear. But you didn't, Zara said. That's growth, Marcus. That's real change. They walked to class together, hand in hand. The whispers continued, but Marcus was learning to tune them out, to focus on what mattered instead of what everyone else thought mattered. English class, Mrs. Peterson assigned a project. Partner work, analysis of a Shakespeare play of their choosing, exploring themes of power and transformation. Before Mrs. Peterson could assign partners, Marcus raised his hand. Can I work with Zara? The class went silent. Mrs. Peterson looked surprised but pleased. Of course, Marcus. Anyone else need a partner? The rest of class paired off while Marcus and Zara moved their desks together. Marcus opened his textbook to the Shakespeare section. Which play do you want to analyze? Zara asked. What would you choose? Marcus asked back. Zara thought for a moment. The Tempest. It's about a man who has power and learns to give it up. Learns that controlling everything and everyone isn't the same as being happy. Feels relevant. Marcus smiled. The Tempest, it is. They spent the rest of class planning their project. Marcus found himself actually engaged with the material, actually thinking about the themes instead of just figuring out how to get an A with minimal effort. Prospero spends the whole play manipulating people with magic, Marcus said, reading from his textbook. But at the end, he gives up his power. Why would he do that? Because he realizes his daughter's happiness matters more than his revenge, Zara said. Because he learns that love is more powerful than control, that freedom is more valuable than dominance. Marcus looked at her, really looked at her. How do you always know exactly what to say? I don't, Zara said with a small smile. I just think about things. And then I'm honest about what I think. You should try it sometime. I am trying, Marcus said. You're teaching me. At lunch, they went to their oak tree. But this time, they weren't alone. 3 students were sitting nearby, not close enough to intrude, but close enough to be present. Marcus recognized them. Sarah Chen, the girl who used to sit in Zara's seat before transferring. She was back, apparently, and 2 others Marcus had seen around but never really noticed. Quiet kids. Invisible kids. Is it okay if we sit here? Sarah asked hesitantly. We won't bother you, this is the only place at school where people aren't talking about the party. Of course, Zara said immediately. Everyone's welcome under this tree. Sarah smiled gratefully and sat down with her friends. They ate quietly, occasionally glancing at Marcus and Zara, but not staring, not demanding attention, just existing. Marcus realized something. This tree wasn't just his and Zara's anymore. It was becoming a sanctuary, a place where people who didn't fit into Westbridge's rigid social structure could breathe, could be themselves without performance or fear. You okay with this? Zara asked Marcus quietly. Sharing our space? Marcus watched Sarah laugh at something her friend said. Watched the tension leave her shoulders. Remembered that he was part of the reason she'd left Westbridge in the first place. He'd dated her. Briefly freshman year, gotten bored, and moved on without caring about the social fallout she'd face. Yeah, Marcus said. I'm okay with it. Actually, I'm better than okay. This feels right. Over the next few days, more students started appearing under the oak tree. Not many, 5, then 7, then 10. All of them people Marcus had never paid attention to. People who existed on the margins, who'd been made invisible by people like who Marcus used to be. And Marcus learned their names, learned their stories, learned that Sarah Chen wanted to be a veterinarian, that Thomas Wright was teaching himself to code, that Maya Patel wrote poetry and dreamed of publishing a book someday. He learned that Westbridge Academy was full of incredible people he'd never bothered to see because he was too busy maintaining his throne. On Thursday, Marcus was walking to his car after school when Tyler caught up with him. They hadn't spoken since the party, hadn't even made eye contact in the hallways. Marcus, wait, Tyler said. Marcus stopped, turned. What do you want? Tyler looked uncomfortable, like he was struggling with something. I wanted to say, I think I was wrong. About Saturday. About what I said. Marcus waited. Silent. I've been watching you this week, Tyler continued. With Zara. With those other kids at lunch. And you seem, I don't know, lighter. Like you're not carrying something heavy anymore? I'm not, Marcus said. I'm not carrying the weight of everyone's expectations. I'm just being myself. Is it better? Tyler asked. Being yourself instead of being Marcus Kane? Marcus thought about that question. Really thought about it. It's scarier, he said honestly. But yeah, it's better. Because I'm starting to actually like who I am. And I never did before. Tyler nodded slowly. I think I've been afraid to be myself for a long time too. I think we all have. It's easier to play the role everyone expects. Easier isn't always better, Marcus said. No, Tyler agreed. I guess it's not. He paused. Are we still friends? Or did I ruin that at the party? Marcus considered the question. Were they friends? Had they ever really been friends? Or had they just been allies in a game neither of them actually enjoyed playing? I don't know, Marcus said. But maybe we could be. Real friends. If you're willing to actually get to know me instead of just knowing Marcus Kane. Tyler smiled. A real smile. Tentative but genuine. I'd like that. They didn't hug, didn't make dramatic declarations, but something shifted between them. Something that felt like the beginning of actual connection. Friday afternoon, Marcus found himself in the school library working on the Shakespeare project with Zara. They'd pushed 2 tables together and spread out their research, books and notes and highlighted passages everywhere. Prospero's relationship with Ariel mirrors your relationship with your old friends, Zara said, reading from her notes. He controlled Ariel through obligation and fear, but at the end, he sets Ariel free. And in that freedom, both of them become more fully themselves. So I'm Prospero, Marcus said. And everyone at Westbridge is Ariel? Maybe, Zara said. Or maybe you're both. Maybe you were controlling others, while also being controlled by their expectations. And now you're freeing yourself and them at the same time. Marcus leaned back in his chair and stared at the ceiling. When did you get so wise? I'm not wise, Zara laughed. I just read a lot. Books teach you things about people, about patterns, about how we're all basically the same underneath our different circumstances. Tell me something, Marcus said. Something I don't know about you, something real. Zara was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I'm scared most of the time. I walk around acting confident and unbothered, but inside I'm terrified. Terrified that people will see through me, that they'll realize I'm just pretending to be strong, that I'm just a girl who's been hurt too many times and built walls to protect herself. Marcus sat forward. Zara, Let me finish, Zara interrupted gently. I came to Westbridge thinking I'd just keep my head down, stay invisible, get through high school without getting hurt again. But then I met you, and you were so obviously performing, so obviously hiding behind this mask of perfection. And I thought, if I can help him take off his mask, maybe I can take off mine too. Have you? Marcus asked. Taken off your mask? I'm trying, Zara said. With you, it's easier. You make me feel safe. Like I can be vulnerable without being destroyed. Marcus reached across the table and took her hand. You make me feel the same way. Like I can finally breathe after holding my breath for 4 years. They sat there in the quiet library, hands joined, looking at each other like they were the only two people in the world. I'm falling for you, Marcus said suddenly. The words came out before he could stop them, before he could overthink them. I know it's fast. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but I'm falling for you, Zara Thompson, and it terrifies me, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Zara's eyes filled with tears, happy tears. I'm falling for you too, Marcus Kane. The real you, not the performance, not the reputation, just you. Marcus stood up and walked around the table. Zara stood too. They stood facing each other in the empty library, surrounded by thousands of stories written by people who'd felt exactly what they were feeling now. Can I kiss you? Marcus asked. His voice was barely a whisper. Yes, Zara whispered back. Marcus leaned in slowly, giving her time to change her mind, time to pull away, but she didn't pull away. She met him halfway. The kiss was soft, tentative, perfect. It tasted like hope and possibility and new beginnings. It felt like coming home to a place Marcus had never been but somehow always knew existed. When they pulled apart, both of them were smiling. That was, Marcus started. Yeah, Zara agreed. It was. They spent the rest of the afternoon working on their project, but everything felt different now. The air felt lighter. The world felt brighter. Marcus kept stealing glances at Zara, and every time he did, she was smiling. The following Monday, Marcus and Zara presented their Shakespeare project to the class. They'd worked hard on it all weekend, meeting at the library and at Zara's house where her mother made them snacks, and Isaiah showed Marcus his dinosaur collection. The Tempest is about power and control, Marcus began, standing at the front of the classroom. His voice was steady, confident in a new way, not the performative confidence of before, real confidence. Prospero uses magic to manipulate everyone around him. He controls the weather, controls spirits, controls other people's lives. And for most of the play, he believes this control makes him powerful. But by the end, Zara continued, he realizes that true power comes from letting go, from freeing the people he's been controlling, from choosing love and forgiveness over revenge and dominance. The play asks us what we're willing to sacrifice for power, and whether that power is worth having if it costs us our humanity. They spent 20 minutes presenting their analysis, showing how Prospero's journey mirrored real-world patterns of control and redemption, how power structures in society often depend on people accepting their roles instead of challenging them. When they finished, the classroom was silent. Then Mrs. Peterson started clapping. That was exceptional, truly exceptional. You've both demonstrated not just understanding of the text, but real insight into human nature. Well done. Other students joined in the applause. Not everyone. Amanda sat with her arms crossed, refusing to clap. David and a few others looked uncomfortable, but most of the class seemed genuinely impressed. As Marcus and Zara returned to their seats, Sarah Chen leaned over and whispered, "That was really good. You two work well together." Marcus smiled. "Thanks, Sarah." After class, Principal Hendricks stopped Marcus in the hallway. She was a stern woman in her 50s who'd been at Westbridge for 20 years. She'd seen everything. "Mr. Kane," she said, "can I speak with you for a moment?" Marcus's stomach dropped. Had someone reported the almost fight with Jake? Was he in trouble? "Yes, ma'am," Marcus said. Principal Hendricks led him to her office and closed the door. She gestured for him to sit. "I've been observing you these past 2 weeks, the changes in your behavior, your social circle, your academic engagement." Marcus waited, unsure where this was going. "I want you to know," Principal Hendricks continued, "that I'm proud of you. I've watched you dominate this school through fear and charisma for years. I've had teachers complain about your behavior, students report feeling intimidated by you, and honestly, I didn't know how to reach you. You were smart enough to never cross any official lines. But you created an environment where many students felt unsafe. Marcus felt shame burn through him. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. You didn't want to realize, Principal Hendricks corrected gently. But something changed. Someone changed you. And now I see a young man who's actually thinking about his impact on others. Who's choosing kindness over dominance? That's growth, Marcus. Real growth. It was Zara, Marcus admitted. She made me see myself honestly, and I didn't like what I saw. So I'm trying to be better. Keep trying, Principal Hendricks said, because this version of you, this is the Marcus Kane who'll actually succeed in the real world. Not because people fear you, but because people respect you. Marcus left her office feeling lighter, feeling seen in a way he'd never been seen before. That afternoon under the oak tree, the group had grown to 15 students. They talked and laughed and studied together. No hierarchy, no power games. Just people being people. Tyler showed up, looking nervous. Is it okay if I join you guys? Marcus looked at Zara. She nodded. Yeah, Marcus said. Sit down. Tyler sat and introduced himself to everyone. Not as Tyler Brooks, son of the richest man in town. Just as Tyler, a 17-year-old who liked video games and terrible puns. This is nice, Tyler said quietly to Marcus after a while. Just being normal, not performing. Yeah, Marcus agreed. It really is. As the sun started to set and students began leaving for home, Marcus and Zara stayed under the tree. Just the two of them again. Do you miss it? Zara asked. Being the king of Westbridge? Marcus thought about it honestly. Sometimes, he admitted. Sometimes I miss how easy it was. How everyone just did what I wanted. But then I remember how empty that felt. How lonely it was to be surrounded by people, but not actually connected to anyone. And I realize I don't miss it at all. This is better. You're better. Real is better. Real is messier, though, Zara said. Real means people see your flaws, see your weaknesses. Good, Marcus said. I'm tired of pretending I don't have any. I'm tired of being perfect. I'd rather be real and flawed and actually happy. Zara leaned her head on his shoulder. You're going to be okay, Marcus Kane. Better than okay. You're going to be extraordinary. Not because everyone thinks so, but because you're finally becoming who you actually are. Marcus wrapped his arm around her and looked up at the sky through the oak tree branches. 2 weeks ago, he'd walked these halls like a king, untouchable, powerful, empty. Now he sat under a tree with a girl who'd said no to him. A girl who'd seen through his performance to the scared boy underneath. A girl who'd shown him that real strength wasn't about control. It was about vulnerability, about honesty, about choosing connection over dominance. Marcus Kane had spent 4 years being someone everyone feared, but Zara Thompson had spent 2 weeks teaching him how to be someone people could actually love. And that made all the difference. The handsome bully who controlled everyone had finally met someone he couldn't control. Someone who'd shown him he didn't need to control anyone, not even himself. He just needed to be honest, be real, be Marcus. And for the first time in his life, that was enough.